echoes from the past standing at the threshold between the known and the forgotten. We find ourselves drawn to the mysteries that lie beneath the earth, hidden in jungles, buried under desert sands, or submerged beneath ancient waters. These are not merely ruins or relics. They are whispers from civilizations that once thrived, testimonies to human ingenuity, ambition, and the eternal desire to create something that transcends mortality. Today, I invite you on an extraordinary journey across continents and millennia to explore the archaeological wonders that have been lost to time and rediscovered by modern explorers. From the cloud-shrouded peaks of the Andes to the depths of Mediterranean seas, from the jungles of Central America to the deserts of the Middle East, we will traverse a landscape of human achievement that challenges everything we thought we knew about our ancestors. Hashtag the lost cities of the Americas. Hashtag Tayuna, the city in the clouds high in the Sierra Nevada mountains of Colombia, concealed by dense tropical vegetation, lies one of the most remarkable archaeological sites in South America. The Spanish never found it. Modern looters discovered it only in 1972, when treasure hunters stumbled upon ancient stone terraces while searching for gold. This is Tayuna, also known as the Lost City, or by its indigenous name from the Tairona people. Imagine a city built approximately 1,300 years ago, 650 years before Machu Picchu, constructed on a series of terraces carved into the mountainside. The engineering feat alone is staggering. Over 170 terraces connected by an intricate network of stone paths, all linked together in perfect harmony with the surrounding ecosystem. These terraces once supported homes, ceremonial centers, and agricultural plots for a sophisticated civilization understood the delicate balance between human habitation and natural preservation. The Tairona people who built Tayuna were master engineers and farmers. They understood irrigation, soil conservation, and sustainable agriculture in ways that modern agronomists are only now beginning to fully appreciate. Walking through these ruins today, climbing the 1,200 stone steps that lead to the main plaza, one cannot help but feel humbled by the sophistication of a culture that thrived in one of the world's most challenging environments. Hashtag Machu Picchu, the sacred citadel. While Machu Picchu is perhaps the most famous archaeological site in South America today, its rediscovery represents one of the great stories of modern archaeology. For centuries, this Incan citadel sat perched on a mountain ridge above the Urubamba Valley, shrouded in mist and mystery, known only to local farmers and indigenous communities. In 1911, American historian Hiram Bim, guided by local farmers including Agustin Lizarraga, who had visited the site years earlier, brought Machu Picchu to the world's attention. What he found was breathtaking: a complete Incan city featuring temples, residences, agricultural terraces, and sophisticated irrigation systems, all constructed with the legendary precision of Incan masonry, where stones fit together so perfectly that not even a blade can slip between them. But here's what makes Machu Picchu truly remarkable: the Incas left no written records of its construction or purpose. Remarkably, Spanish conquistadors never discovered it, which means it escaped the destruction that befell so many other Incan sites. This has led to numerous theories about its purpose. Was it a royal estate, a sacred religious site, an astronomical observatory, or perhaps all of these things combined? The site demonstrates the Incas' profound understanding of astronomy, agriculture, and architecture. The Intihuatana stone, whose name means hitching post to the sun, were used as an astronomical clock or calendar. During the winter solstice, the sun stands almost directly above this pillar, creating no shadow, a feat of astronomical precision that still amazes scientists today. Hashtag the Amazon's hidden civilizations. For centuries, the prevailing belief was that the Amazon rainforest was too harsh an environment to support large, complex civilizations. This assumption has been spectacularly overturned by recent discoveries. In 2024, archaeologist Stephen Rothstein announced findings that would revolutionize our understanding of pre-Columbian South America. Using advanced LiDAR technology, which can penetrate jungle canopy to reveal ground structures, researchers discovered an extensive network of ancient cities in Ecuador's Opano Valley. These settlements, inhabited between 2,500 and 1,500 years ago, featured sophisticated urban planning with agricultural plots separated by canals, interconnected by roads, a level of organization previously thought impossible in the Amazon. But the Amazon holds even more secrets. Throughout the region, researchers have discovered thousands of petroglyphs, rock carvings that tell stories we're only beginning to understand. Some depict animals, both real and mythical. Others show geometric patterns and spirals that appear across multiple sites, suggesting shared cultural or religious significance. One of the most intriguing figures found at various Amazonian sites is what some have dubbed the astronaut, a figure that has sparked countless theories about ancient contact with advanced civilizations. What's becoming clear is that the Amazon was not an untouched wilderness, but rather a landscape actively managed and modified by sophisticated societies. These civilizations developed sustainable agricultural practices, created complex social structures, and left behind artistic and architectural achievements that rival those of better-known ancient cultures. #Petra and the Desert Kingdoms. #Petra, the rose-red city carved directly into the vibrant red, white, and pink sandstone cliffs. Southern Jordan. Petra stands as one of the most spectacular archaeological sites in the world. The Nabateans, an ancient Arab people, established this city as their capital around the 4th century BCE, transforming a network of natural canyons into an architectural marvel. To enter Petra is to enter another world. You walk through the Siq, a narrow gorge that winds for over a kilometer between towering cliffs that seem to touch the sky. Then, suddenly, the passage opens and you find yourself face to face with the Treasury al-Khazna, its elaborate Hellenistic facade carved from a single cliff face, glowing in shades of rose and gold. But Petra is far more than just the treasury. This was a thriving city that controlled crucial trade routes between Arabia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean. The Nabateans were masters of water management, creating sophisticated systems of dams, cisterns, and ceramic pipes that could capture and store the desert's scarce rainfall. They transformed an inhospitable desert into a prosperous urban center. After flourishing for centuries, Petra was gradually abandoned, and by the time of the Crusades, it was known only to local Bedouin tribes. It remained hidden from the Western world until 1812, when Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, disguised as an Arab Muslim, became the first European in modern times to describe the site. #Hegra, Petra's sister city, just as impressive but far less known, is Hegra, located in modern-day Saudi Arabia. This was the Nabateans' second largest city after Petra, and it shares many of the same characteristics: monumental tombs carved into rock faces, sophisticated water management systems, and evidence of extensive trade networks. British explorer Charles Montagu Doughty documented these ruins in 1876, but the site remained relatively unknown until recent decades. What makes Hegra particularly fascinating is its state of preservation. Because it wasn't continuously inhabited or heavily visited, many features remain remarkably intact, offering insights into Nabatean life that complement what we know from Petra. The tomb facades at Hegra reveal a society with clear social hierarchies, where the size and elaboration of one's tomb reflected status and wealth. Inscriptions on these tombs provide valuable information about Nabatean beliefs, language, and daily life. Even after centuries of abandonment, these monuments stand as testament to a civilization that mastered desert living and created beauty in one of the world's harshest environments. #The Maya Mystery. #Tikal, the great Maya metropolis rising above the Guatemalan jungle canopy. The towering pyramids of Tikal represent one of the greatest achievements of Maya civilization. At its height, between 200 and 900 CE, Tikal was one of the most powerful Maya city-states, home to perhaps 100,000 people, a population density that wouldn't be matched in Europe until the Industrial Revolution. The site was rediscovered by Ambrosio Turt in 1848, though local communities had always known of its existence. What shocked early archaeologists was the scale and sophistication of Maya architecture and astronomy. The pyramids weren't just impressive structures, they were precisely aligned astronomical observatories, calendrical devices, and symbolic representations of the Maya cosmos. Temple 4, the tallest structure at Tikal, rises 65 meters above the jungle floor. Climbing to its summit and looking out over the endless green canopy, with other pyramid tops poking through like islands in a sea of forest, one gains a visceral sense of Maya civilization's grandeur. These weren't primitive people living in jungles. These were sophisticated astronomers, mathematicians, artists, and engineers who built cities rivaling any in the ancient world. Palenque. The city of ancient mysteries deep in the Chiapas jungle of Mexico lies Palenque, a Maya city that reached its peak between 500 and 700 CN. While Spanish explorers first reported the site in 1746, it wasn't fully revealed until the 20th century. What makes Palenque extraordinary is the quality and detail of its art and architecture. The Temple of Inscriptions houses one of archaeology's most spectacular discoveries. In 1952, Mexican archaeologist Alberto Ruiz Luilla discovered a hidden stairway that descended into the pyramid's interior. At the bottom, he found the tomb of Tikal, one of Maya civilization's greatest rulers, who died in 683 CE after a reign of nearly 70 years. Tikal's sarcophagus is adorned with one of the most intricate and debated carvings in Mesoamerican archaeology. Some see in it evidence of ancient astronauts or advanced technology, a man appearing to operate some kind of machine. Archaeologists, however, recognize it as a representation of the Maya cosmos, showing Paca's journey into the underworld surrounded by symbols of death and rebirth. Egypt's eternal mysteries. The Valley of the Kings, carved into limestone hills on the west bank of the Nile, across from ancient Thebes, modern Luxor. The Valley of the Kings served as the royal cemetery for Egyptian pharaohs during the New Kingdom period. Over 60 tombs have been discovered here, including those of Ramesses II, Seti I, and most famously, Tutankhamun. For centuries, the valley was periodically looted and forgotten, rediscovered and lost again. The most significant rediscovery in modern times came in 1922 when British archaeologist Howard Carter found KV62, the tomb of Tutankhamun. Unlike most royal tombs, which had been thoroughly plundered in ancient times, Tutankhamun's tomb was found largely intact. The discovery was sensational. Room after room filled with golden objects, jewelry, furniture, chariots, and finally, in the burial chamber itself, a series of nested coffins culminating in a solid gold sarcophagus containing the pharaoh's mummified body, face covered with an iconic gold mask. The treasures from Tutankhamun's tomb, now displayed in Cairo's Egyptian Museum, offer an unparalleled window into Egyptian burial practices and beliefs about the afterlife. If this much wealth was buried with a relatively minor pharaoh who died young, one can only imagine what must have been interred with the truly great pharaoh's treasures that were looted in antiquity and lost forever. Dendera Temple Complex. While not lost in the traditional sense, the Temple of Hathor Dendera represents one of Egypt's best-preserved temple complexes, offering insights into Egyptian religious practices, art, and surprisingly, scientific knowledge. The temple was buried under sand and debris until serious excavation began in the 1840s, revealing remarkably intact structures. The temple's most controversial feature is found in an underground crypt, a relief that some have interpreted as depicting ancient electric lights. The image shows what appears to be a large bulb-shaped object, supported by a pillar, with a serpent inside and a cable leading away. While fringe theories propose this as evidence of ancient electricity, Egyptologists explain it as a representation of Egyptian mythology, specifically the birth of the god Hasuntus from a lotus flower, symbolizing creation and renewal. More legitimate scientific interest centers on the Dendera zodiac, a bas-relief showing the night sky with constellations represented in both Egyptian and Greek symbolism, demonstrating the astronomical knowledge of ancient Egypt and the cultural exchange between civilization. The ancient engineers. Göbekli Tepe. The dawn of civilization in southeastern Turkey on a hilltop overlooking the Fertile Crescent lies what may be the most important archaeological discovery of the 21st century. Göbekli Tepe, first noted in 1963, but not seriously excavated until Klaus Schmidt began work in 1995, has fundamentally challenged our understanding of human history. The site consists of massive stone pillars arranged in circles, some weighing up to 20 tons, elaborately carved with images of animals: foxes, lions, bulls, scorpions, and vultures. The revolutionary aspect: these structures were built approximately 11,000 years ago, before the development of agriculture, before pottery, before metal tools. They predate Stonehenge by 6,000 years, and the Egyptian pyramids by 7,000 years. This discovery overturned a fundamental assumption about human development. We had believed that agriculture came first, creating surplus food that allowed specialization and monumental construction. Göbekli Tepe suggests the opposite sequence. Perhaps the desire to create sacred spaces and gather for ritual purposes drove the development of agriculture, as hunter-gatherers needed to stay in one place to maintain these temples. The implications are profound. These weren't simple hunter-gatherers scraping by in survival mode. These were sophisticated people with complex belief systems, capable of organizing large labor forces and executing intricate artistic visions. Whatever spiritual or cultural needs drove them to create Göbekli Tepe were powerful enough to motivate one of humanity's first great construction projects. #the Terracotta Army in 1974. Farmers digging a well near Tenai'an, China, made one of the most spectacular archaeological discoveries of all time. They had uncovered part of an underground army, thousands of life-size terracotta soldiers, each with unique facial features, expressions, and details, created over 2,000 years ago to guard the tomb of China's first emperor Qin Shi Huang. The scale is breathtaking. Current estimates suggest there may be over 8,000 soldiers, 130 chariots with 520 horses, and 150 cavalry horses, spread across 3 main pits covering roughly 20,000 square meters. Each figure was individually crafted, from generals to infantry to archers, reflecting the ranks and formations of an actual army. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect is what hasn't been excavated. The tomb mound of Emperor Qin Shi Huang himself remains unopened. Ancient texts describe it as containing rivers of mercury, automated crossbow traps, and a representation of the cosmos with jeweled stars and constellations. Modern testing has confirmed unusually high mercury levels in the soil, lending credence to these ancient accounts. #conclusion. Lessons from the lost. As we conclude this journey through humanity's lost and forgotten treasures, several profound themes emerge. First, the hubris of assuming we know our own history. Time and again, sites like Göbekli Tepe, the Amazonian cities, and countless others have overturned long-held assumptions about what ancient peoples were capable of achieving. Second, the universality of human aspiration. From the Nabateans carving Petra from desert cliffs to the Maya building Tikal's soaring pyramids, from the Incas constructing Machu Picchu to the Chinese creating the Terracotta Army, we see the same impulse to create something greater than ourselves. Something that transcends our brief individual existence and speaks to future generations. Third, the fragility of civilization itself. Many of these sites were abandoned, their cities left to the jungle or desert, their purposes forgotten, their inhabitants disappeared into history. Climate change, warfare, disease, resource depletion, the causes varied, but the result was the same. Thriving civilizations vanished, leaving only stones and questions. Finally, these sites remind us of what we stand to lose. Even now, archaeological treasures face threats from looting, war, climate change, and simple neglect. Sites like Palmyra have been damaged by conflict. Climate change threatens coastal sites with rising seas, and countless ruins remain buried, waiting for discovery but vulnerable to destruction before they can be properly documented. These lost cities, forgotten temples, and abandoned civilizations are more than tourist destinations or academic curiosities. They are humanity's collective heritage, physical links to our shared past, and repositories of knowledge about how societies rise, flourish, adapt, and sometimes fall. They remind us that we are part of a much longer story, one that stretches back tens of thousands of years and will, we hope, continue far into the future. In studying these sites, in preserving them and learning from them, we honor those who came before us. We acknowledge their achievements, learn from their mistakes, and recognize that we are merely the latest chapter in humanity's long story. The ruins of Petra, the pyramids of Tikal, the terraces of Machu Picchu, these are not endings but continuations, conversations across time between those who built and those who discover, between past and present, between what was lost and what endures. As modern technology, satellite imaging, LiDAR, ground-penetrating radar continues to reveal more hidden sites, we can be certain that more wonders await discovery. Beneath the jungle canopy, under desert sands, submerged in seas and lakes, or simply overlooked in familiar landscapes, remnants of past civilizations wait to tell their stories, to challenge our assumptions, and to inspire us with the achievements of our ancestors. The journey of discovery never ends. Each answer raises new questions. Each excavation reveals new mysteries. And in this ongoing dialogue with the past, we find not just knowledge of where we came from, but perhaps wisdom about where we might go, and warnings about pitfalls to avoid. These lost cities, forgotten temples, and buried treasures are humanity's teachers, if only we have the wisdom to learn from them.